Welcome, everyone, to English Everyday Podcast, the show that helps you navigate your English learning journey with confidence and a smile. I'm your host, Alex, and I'm super excited about today's topic. We're diving deep into something that I know many of you struggle with: how to stay consistent in your English journey. It's the secret sauce, right? The thing that separates those who get stuck from those who truly progress. And to help us unlock this secret, I have two fantastic guests with me today. First up, we have Jane, an amazing English learner who's been on her own journey and has some fantastic insights to share. Jane, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Alex. I'm really happy to be here. I'm excited to share my experiences and learn from Mike, too.
Fantastic. And joining us as our resident language expert is Mike, a brilliant language coach who's helped countless learners just like you and me. Mike, it's great to have you.
Thanks, Alex. It's a pleasure to be here and discuss such a crucial topic. Consistency is indeed the cornerstone of language acquisition.
Absolutely. So, as Jane, let's start with you. You're at an intermediate level, which means you've definitely put in the work. What does consistency mean to you in your English learning?
For me, consistency means showing up every day, even if it's just for a short time. It's not about marathon study sessions, but about making English a part of my daily routine. Like, even if I'm tired, I'll try to read an article, listen to a podcast, an audiobook, or practice some new vocabulary for 10 to 15 minutes. It's about building a habit.
That's such a great way to put it, Jane. Mike, from a coaching perspective, what are the common pitfalls you see when learners struggle with consistency?
One of the biggest pitfalls is the all or nothing mindset. Learners often think they need to dedicate hours every single day. When life gets busy and they can't meet that unrealistic expectation, they get discouraged and give up entirely. Another common issue is a lack of clear goals. If you don't know why you're learning or what you want to achieve, it's much harder to stay motivated and consistent.
That makes perfect sense. It's like setting yourself up for failure. Jane, how did you personally overcome that initial hurdle of I don't have enough time or I'm not motivated enough?
It was a process, for sure. I used to be very strict with myself, trying to study for an hour every day. When I missed a day, I'd feel guilty and then skip the next day, too. Then I realized that wasn't sustainable, so I started setting smaller, achievable goals. Instead of study for an hour, it became listen to one English song and look up the lyrics, or write 3 sentences about my day. And celebrating those small wins was huge. It made me feel like I was actually making progress, even on days when I felt I wasn't doing much.
That's brilliant, Jane. Celebrating small wins. Mike, how important is goal setting and breaking down larger objectives into smaller, manageable steps?
It's absolutely vital. Think of it like climbing a mountain. You don't just teleport to the summit. You take it step by step, mile by mile. For language learning, this means setting SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. For example, instead of I want to be fluent, a SMART goal could be I want to be able to hold a 10-minute conversation about my hobbies with a native speaker within 3 months. This gives you a clear target and allows you to track your progress.
And when you break that down further, Jane, what are some of the small, achievable steps you've taken?
Well, for that specific goal, I might set a weekly goal like learn 10 new vocabulary words related to hobbies, or practice speaking for 5 minutes each day with a language exchange partner. I also found it helpful to integrate English into activities I already enjoy. I love cooking, so I started watching cooking shows in English with subtitles. I enjoy reading, so I switched to reading books in English. It didn't feel like work, it felt like a hobby.
That's a fantastic tip, Jane. Integrating English into existing hobbies. Mike, are there any strategies you recommend for making learning feel less like a chore and more enjoyable?
Absolutely. The key is to find what genuinely interests you. If you love movies, watch them in English. If you're into gaming, play games in English. If you're passionate about a particular subject, read articles or watch documentaries about it in English. The more enjoyable the process, the more likely you are to stick with it. Also, gamification can be very effective. Using apps with points, streaks, and leaderboards can add a fun competitive element.
Gamification. I like that. And speaking of motivation, if you're listening and haven't checked out our channel yet, make sure you do. At English Everyday, we have tons of videos to help you stay consistent on your journey, from our speaking practice series to listening stories, and of course, our podcasts like this one. So subscribe, explore, and make English part of your daily life. Now, Jane, have you used any apps or tools that have helped you stay consistent?
Yes. I use a vocabulary app that sends me daily quizzes, which is great for review. And I also use a language exchange app where I connect with native speakers. Just having that scheduled chat, even for 20 minutes, keeps me accountable. And honestly, just the feeling of accomplishment after a good conversation is a massive motivator.
Accountability is huge. Mike, how can learners create accountability for themselves, especially if they're learning independently?
There are several ways. First, tell someone your goals, a friend, family member, or even your online community. Knowing someone will ask about your progress can be a powerful motivator. Second, join a language learning group or community, either online or in person. The shared experience and mutual support can be incredibly beneficial. Third, keep a learning journal. Documenting your efforts, your challenges, and your successes can provide valuable insights and a sense of progress.
A learning journal. That's a great idea. Jane, do you keep a journal?
I do. I don't write in it every single day, but I try to jot down new words I've learned, any grammar points that confused me, and also how I felt about my learning that week. It helps me see how far I've come, especially when I'm feeling a bit discouraged. Looking back at my entries from a few months ago, I can see how much I've improved.
That's such a powerful tool for self-reflection and motivation. Mike, what about those days when motivation just hits rock bottom? What can learners do to push through?
This is where discipline truly comes into play. Motivation is fleeting. Discipline is about doing what you need to do, even when you don't feel like it. On those tough days, I advise learners to lower the bar even further. If your goal is to read for 30 minutes and you're feeling unmotivated, commit to just 5 minutes. Often, once you start, you'll find the momentum to continue. If not, 5 minutes is still better than nothing. Also, reminding yourself of your why, your ultimate reason for learning English, can reignite that spark.
That's so true. Jane, have you had days like that, and what did you do?
Oh, absolutely. There are days when I just want to relax and not think in English at all. On those days, I might just listen to an English podcast while I'm doing chores, or I'll watch a short, funny English video online. It's not intense study, but it keeps the language present. And sometimes just taking a short break, a day or two, and then coming back with renewed energy is also important. Burnout is real.
That's a very important point, Jane. Taking breaks. Mike, how do we know when it's a necessary break versus when we're just procrastinating?
That's a fine line, and it requires self-awareness. A necessary break usually leaves you feeling refreshed and re-energized, ready to dive back in. Procrastination, on the other hand, often comes with feelings of guilt or anxiety. If you're feeling constantly drained and uninspired by your learning, it might be time for a short, intentional break. But if you're just avoiding it because it feels difficult, then it's probably procrastination, and you need to employ some of those discipline strategies we discussed.
Self-awareness is key. So to recap for our listeners, we've talked about setting small, achievable goals, integrating English into your hobbies, finding accountability partners or communities, keeping a learning journal, and the importance of discipline over motivation on tough days. Jane, if you could give one piece of advice to someone who is just starting their English journey and is worried about staying consistent, what would it be?
I would say be kind to yourself. Don't expect perfection. Just aim for progress, no matter how small. Find joy in the process and remember why you started. Every little bit counts.
And Mike, what's your final word of encouragement for our listeners on their consistency journey?
Embrace the journey, not just the destination. Language learning is a marathon, not a sprint. Celebrate your progress, learn from your setbacks, and most importantly, keep showing up. Consistent effort, even in small doses, will always lead to significant results over time.
Wonderful advice from both of you. Thank you so much, Jane and Mike, for sharing your invaluable insights today. I'm sure our listeners have gotten some practical tips they can start implementing right away. And to everyone listening, if you found this episode helpful, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments what helps you stay consistent with your English. Remember, consistency is your superpower. Keep practicing, keep learning, and we'll see you next time.